Story time of a minute. Hooray!
Hello. This story is especially for Hudson and Hayes. Let's read a story about a baby elephant in Africa called Babou and see what Babou's day was like. Babou the Baby Elephant. Babou the baby elephant was born in Africa in a forest bordering the savanna, the hot grasslands. He was grey, hairy, and had very big ears. His grandmother, Zambala, led the herd, guarding it from danger. The yellow baboons, who liked to see everything, watched the herd. The elephants had been feeding nearly all night, eating grass, leaves, twigs and branches. They used their trunks to gather the food and put it into their mouths. These large animals need enormous meals. They strip an area of its vegetation and then move on to find more. Babou gripped his mother's tail with his trunk. They couldn't hold hands, could they? "Come," she said, "keep close. I don't want to lose you." They started off. Elephants move silently. Babou knew how to walk as if on rubber pads. Elephants have poor sight. If this big bird, the hornbill, kept still, they wouldn't notice it. Their sense of smell, however, is excellent. They lift their trunks up into the wind and can tell exactly who is about. Their hearing is good too. Babou's big ears picked up the slightest sound. He flapped them, cooling himself, driving off the tormenting insects. On and on trooped the herd across the scorching plain. At last, there was the river. They bathed and wallowed in the mud. Babou rolled over and over. His insect bites felt better. It was wonderful. A fierce warthog was enjoying a drink. Long-legged birds waded, fishing and prodding. One caught a small snake. It was a secretary bird. That name was given because the head feathers looked like quill or feather pens. Long ago, secretaries used feather pens and poked them behind the ear. A stork flew over, but Babou didn't notice. He only wanted rest and the mud. Zambala looked round, smelling for danger. A hungry lion might be hidden, waiting to attack a helpless baby elephant. Babou showered and splashed. Bathing time was the best part of the day. Not far off, Madam Hippopotamus pretended to be asleep. She didn't want to be disturbed. She spent her days lazing in the water and her nights grazing on land. The yellow-billed stork, or wood ibis, waited for a fish. Babou, he just enjoyed himself. The elephants had left the river, but Babou could not climb the slippery bank. The mud sucked him in as he tried to move. He was frightened. The little egrets with white lacy feathers, they were worried too. The pelican and the crown cranes watched his struggles. At last his mother pushed him up. "Up, Babou! Try again! Up!" Her great strength saved him. One afternoon, when Zambala and the herd were having a snooze under the cool mimosa trees, Babou took himself off. "I'm not sleepy. I'll have an adventure," he thought. Suddenly, there in front of him, a stranger appeared with a sharp horn on his nose. He was terrible and so cross. He was more than cross. He was furious. Who was this stupid baby elephant disturbing him? How dare he? Thought the rhinoceros. Babou didn't know what to do. He had never seen such an animal. He had never been so alone. The rhinoceros scraped the ground, making a cloud of dust, showing his anger. Then he charged. Babou took to his heels. He did not see the beautiful Goliath beetle. He was away. Only speed could save him. When they reached the herd, Rhino made off. "Trust no one," said Babou's mother, "and never leave the herd. Your tusks must grow, then you may go alone." Babou was learning many things about life on the savannah. He saw Father Lion with his handsome mane and the lioness and her cub, all golden-coloured like the dried grasses. Zebras made him chuckle with their dazzling stripes and small wagging tails. He watched the gazelles, so timid and so swift. They always disappeared before the flesh-eating animals, the lions, leopard and hyenas, started the evening hunt. Zambala wasn't afraid of any hunters. When elephants and lions meet, they take no notice of each other. It is only when a disobedient baby elephant strays or lags behind that a lion would be tempted to attack. Any animal trying to steal Babou from the herd would be trampled to death by the angry elephants. Babou was excited. He'd found a mountain, a termite hill. Termites or white ants aren't really like ants. They tunnel underground, then cement their runs with the waste from their bodies. Babou was king of the castle. He danced and trumpeted. It was fun. Termites dislike daylight, so they didn't swarm over him. Babou's mother and aunt were watching. Sometimes elephants dig into termite hills to eat the cement or clay for its salt. They need salt to keep healthy. One day, Babou was being very good and keeping out of mischief. Suddenly, he came across a young chimpanzee. It was quite alone and no mother in sight. Babou was delighted with his new friend, but Zambala was annoyed. She thought Babou might follow the ape and be in danger. Babou was enjoying the fun. He liked the faces Chimpy pulled and his clever antics. Zambala wasn't amused. She was angry. She stretched out her big ears. Yes, she was very angry. "Come back," she ordered. Poor Babou, he hadn't been naughty. As for Chimpy, he was terrified and disappeared into the bushes. Here is Babou when he tried to be as clever as his mother. He'd seen her uproot trees easily, so he could too. He chose one he liked, about the right size, rolled his trunk round and pulled. Next he was sprawling, holding the broken piece. While Babou had been busy, 3 buffaloes had come close behind him. Now, wild African buffaloes are fierce and among the most dangerous animals on the savannah. But these just stood gazing. Why was that? They knew Zambala and her herd were nearby. Babou was safe. One evening, the elephants were lifting their trunks, breathing in a delicious smell. Bananas! Mmm, said Zambala. We'll go. Later, in darkness and silence, they found the plantation. What a feast! Babou was having a wonderful time. Suddenly, Zambala signaled, "Out!" The cattle, a domesticated variety of zebu, had smelt them and were restless. The herd had to go, or there'd be trouble. Too late. The villagers made their attack, shouting and shooting arrows. The elephants went mad at the torches and all the hullabaloo. They stampeded, trampling plants, fences and sheds. Zambala dug her tusks, ripping off the thatching. It was terrifying. Poor Babou, he was so bewildered. Dazzled by the torches and scared out of his wits, he ran and ran, but in the wrong direction. He couldn't see his mother or any of the herd. Out there in the dark savannah, he was all alone. Yes, Babou was lost. Exhausted and miserable, he sat down close to a big tree. It made him feel safer. The moon rose and shadows moved across the grasses. He heard hyenas laughing in the distance and the yapping of jackals. These 2 scavengers eat animals which have died or been killed by others. Even so, a hyena with its strong jaws might attack a baby elephant. Babou couldn't run any more, but he had learned never to turn his back to an enemy. He pressed closer to the tree. It felt like his mother's body, strong and comforting. Babou remembered everything he'd learned. He knew that the leader would never give up searching for one of the herd who was lost or hurt. Yes, Zambala would come. She had picked up Babou's trail, but was delayed by another danger. She could smell smoke. Fire! It roared over the plain like a monster. Birds filled the sky. Animals fled for their lives. Giraffes, gazelles, zebras, hyenas, jackals, leopards and lions. They weren't hunting or being hunted. All were racing from their worst enemy. Flames leaped towards them. Dry grasses blazed at their heels. If only they could reach the river. If only the rain would pour down. Babou had found enough strength to join the rush for safety. But where were the others? Had the whole herd died in the fire? No, Wise Zambala had taken the mountain route. All was safe and Babou was found. Waving his trunk, he ambled along close to his mother. They roamed the hills, finding fresh green food. One day, new grasses would grow on the burned-out plain. The elephants would return and Babou would have many more adventures. The end.